Massive migraines. Let's look at some Astonishing. Sound good? Yep. Oh, she loud. You got your music? Nice one. Good, good. You can hear the piano okay? So what is... Do we have the same music? It's in a flat key. Oh, sorry, you froze. Oh, hello? Yeah, you did a freezy. It's in a flat key though, is it, to begin with? Cool. Yeah, great. Any sort of little things you'd like me to address that have come up for you? Yeah. Yeah. Live my dreams or even start when everything has come apart. So that's because the writ is technically going through the 2/4 bar as well. Yeah, so you got that 2/4 bar. Everything has 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3. It just says slow, but in the way that I interpret those chords are quite they're quite grounded in the way that they're sort of plotted. So it's just like ting, ting, dum. 2 and 3, I thought home was all I ever wanted. My attic, all I'd ever need. Alright. I've got too many screens in the way. I can't see it. I never know where to look. Anyway, it says into con la voce. It sort of moves the sense of 2 being the emphasis on 1 and 3. I thought home was all I'd ever want. My attic, all I'd ever need. I backphrase need a little bit, but I think a lot of people do that. All I ever need, if you really want to get quite accurate on that. I thought home was all I'd ever want. My attic, all I'd ever need. Yeah, if you can really actually kind of get it like that, I think that's a bit more satisfying. It's a bit different to what I think people do often. My attic, so that's a nice one. My attic, all I'd ever need. So it's like you're able to contemplate the word whilst you're saying it, which I think informs the text more. Attic, all I'd ever need. Now nothing feels the way it was before. Ting. And I don't know how to proceed. Now, so obviously con la voce, so it doesn't have to be that strict. Sorry, my sharing is being dodgy again. You don't need to see the piano, so I'll just do this. You can see the music? Cool. Let me set this up. just jumped forward. It's like, what? What is happening? Anyway, does that make a bit of sense? Mm-hmm. In this slow section or in the con la voce? Just in general? Yeah. I mean, look, it is up to interpretation. It's kind of like as the actor as well, or even as the music director, I'm sort of trying to work out these chords. Come apart. To me, they're contemplation. They have quite a lot of weight, especially the power 5 chords in the left hand. They're the chords. They're so earthy, very grounded. And they've got the tenuto, which indicates that they're fat, horizontally speaking. They're intended to be played very gooey, long, lungo. So they have to represent something. And then once you realize what they represent, you kind of start to work out what slow means. And I'm not quite sure what they represent. It's like a vision, like something's opening up. Again, I always talk about this interplay between the music and the text and the character. And we start to get our first motif, which leads into our song, you know. So it has to be, I feel like some picture becomes visible. Some like I actually see it. The sound to me is like very, very open and mountainous. It's the sort of sound of like an open sky. And I think the music is kind of saying there's possibility. But it's not sort of whimsical possibility. You know? It's quite tangible. You know? It's earthly and grounded. And then that little motif, da-do-da, is an encouraging, it's an invitation to contemplate. So this is where the magic happens, I think, anyway. Because we start to listen, you know, we start to listen to the melodies and react to them. It's a different reaction, though, to how you'd react to an actor, right? Because it's metaphysical. It's not real, but it can be a thought or it can be an idea. It can be, the character's not conscious that the music is encouraging them to do something. But at the same time, the music, I feel, is representing an internal discovery, you know? An internal knowing, an internal sort of, light bulb. Even just a little flicker, right? Da da da. Okay, and this is interesting because we the whole thing is tension, 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 rustle, rustle, rustle. It's always rustling. And then eventually it slows down. As long as possible, we can get those phrases. Everything has to be very, very long, very long, very long. Live my dreams or even start when everything has come apart. I don't know exactly when you'd breathe, but you'll find it. You have to find it quite naturally where it wants to be. But the tendency, I think a lot of people do come. They sort of shorten that word, but I think there's lots of contemplation in the length of words. There's contemplation through the length. In the length, like as you contemplate, as you realize things, as you learn something and you glean something, the words are long. Come apart. Oh God, that was wrong. Sorry. I thought home. A lot of people just kind of slam on the brakes around then. Ding, day, do, day. And they just take a really long time. And I don't think that's the right vibe. A, because there's no fermata, and, well, that's mainly the reason. Time is still ticking on. Dum, day, do, day, I thought home. You can still be slow and measured with it. But come to the thought. As soon as you hear, be, do, da, I thought home. 2 was all I'd ever want. 2, my attic, all I'd ever need. 2, now nothing feels the way it was before. And I don't know how to proceed. Yeah? So really clear 1 and 3, 1 and 3. The quavers that happen in between the 1 and the 3s, they're sort of up to your interpretation. You know, that's the whole idea of con la voce. Sorry. Was all I'd ever want. But I'd really practice getting security leading into the 1s of each bar. But it's kind of like you're in charge here. That's all I'd ever want. My attic, all I'd ever need. But then you get this response. Dee-dum-dum, now nothing. People usually fuck this up. Dee-do-do, now nah, you know, the quaver pickup. As opposed to now nothing feels. It's not really like that. Now nah, yeah. As opposed to now nah, or even now. So you hear that here. Now nothing feels the way it was before. Feels, was, yeah? Nothing feels the way it was before. And I don't know how to proceed. It's a weird sentence. The way it's scanned. I don't know how to proceed. I don't know how to proceed. It sort of scans a bit strange. But something to play with. I'm not really sure. There's something there, that's for sure. I don't know how to proceed. It's a bit regal. I don't know how to proceed. I don't do da do good do. Just trying to think how that, in terms of the meter, how it's placed. Ah da 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 da. Anyway, a bit of fun there. We can start to sort of glean a bit of her sort of pride, rather than sort of wimpy, right? Rather than like full on, I don't know how to proceed. I don't know how to proceed. You know, there could be a sense of pride there, in the sense that I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe I'll work it out. Maybe, you know, I've got my ambitions with me still, rather than sort of weakness. You know, weakness is a bit boring. I don't know how to do it. This is fun. It's beautiful. It's really nice. Yeah, major 7. Only know I meant for something more. That triplet? Whenever you got triplet, it's like it's chance to dig, to pull the words apart. Only know I meant for something more. No, I'm exaggerating the point, right? But when you do it, it'll be amazing. But it's just interesting. It's like something. It's not something more. I know I meant for something more. It's meant for something more. 3 and a ba. So you can really play with that triplet. And then we've got in for. Only know I meant for. So that the field completely changes. And I don't. Nothing feels the way it was before. And I don't know how to press 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I've got to know if I can be. So it's not that the tempo changes, but it slightly lengthens out just a little bit. to give a more of an emphasis on the 2 and 4. I only know I'm meant for something more. I've got to know if I can be. Yeah? There's a feel change, which kind of just places a bit of extra emphasis on slightly the 2 and 4, but also kind of every crotchet beat. Only know, only know. If you can really draw those out, it's very tasty. It's very tasty, very satisfying. Only know I meant. Ma, getting the power between the consonant of M whilst not labouring on it. Only know I meant. So you can cut straight to the vowel. Yeah. Meant for something more. Daliang. I've got to know if I can be. This is interesting. The tendency is to fade. You know, everyone does that as musicality. I've got to know if I can be. But do the opposite. Do the opposite. Do what people will least expect, and also what feels less satisfying to do and less indulgent. I've got to know if I can be. And that involves sight. That involves imagination and vision, right? I've got to know if I can be. You know, see it, clock it. Astonishing. Yeah, people. A lot of them sort of die there because the accompaniment gets light. Do you know what I mean? Just gets a bit mushy. Gets mushy. If I can be. Whereas the music is saying, "What can you be?" You know, but the music's also not getting in the way too much. If I can be a star, and I like this. The beat one is completely clear. A star. That's completely Astana boo do do da da do day. There's a light. So we got this march, almost march. It's like the beginning, you know, not the month. It's the beginning of seeing her sense of I don't know, it's regal, proud, higher. There's something going on here, you know, and it's prevalent throughout the introduction too. There's all these little notes, and we'll find them that are kind of like the trumpets, like the heavens, like she's sort of I'm sort of talking about the concept of you know, kings and queens being, was they like connected to God or something? From a theological perspective, from this notion that like she's important, there's some sort of greater importance. Now, of course, I don't really know the song very well. Well, I know the song, but I don't really know the circumstances or the story, which I'll sort of get that from you in a second. But I like to see what the music says first. But there's all these little trumpet sounds. And I know it's not trumpet in the orchestration, but that rhythm, you know, so there's this sense of triumph, this sense of regalness, this sense of openness. Immediate key change, which is nice. Astonishing. There's tendency will be to sing this note a little bit sharp as well, closer to the C natural of ishing, of ish. But we need to. It's two worlds. We've just come from astonishing. It's more or less like end of song. That's the end. The next section is almost a completely different song. And you actually need to pitch that B, and this will sound a bit confusing, as if you're pitching it in the new key, not in the previous key. Because the B natural in the previous key, and this is confusing on piano because piano is equal tempered and has a finite tuning, but the B natural in the previous key will tend to be a little bit sharp as it leads to the C natural. But the B natural in the new key, which is B major, has to be slightly more weighted And this comes into like vocal placement, there's, like getting the sense of R in there. But it's also just being able to think forward. You need to be able to actually pitch and imagine that you're going there. There's a life. This will tie in a lot of the sort of stuff we've been talking about over the past several weeks, which is really nice. And it's slightly brainy and doesn't always make sense. But when you find the power behind there's a life that I'm meant to lead, you'll find the lower resonance of the word. And when you've done your musical training of playing that chord, day, day, and then going, there's a key change. Once you do your training to kind of work out, okay, what's happening here? I hear this G flat chord. There's my note. And this is where I'm going to. So you're sort of training yourself to actually go, where am I moving to orally? And then building the muscle memory, and then finding the sort of acting sort of prowess to find the weight of there's a. Yeah, it's a slight taste of excitement, anticipation, and also determination, right? The determination is kind of what drives her constantly. It's what drives the lower end of every word that she sings. A lot of people sing this song. It's not grounded. Nothing's grounded. It's all very shallow, very superficial, and the sound is not grounded and powerful. Yeah. I imagine, I think maybe Pip goes into this, but like she's pitched like a tent. But this sense of power. Yep. Good. Sorry, did you say that? Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah. Recordings and stuff. Yep. Awesome. Of course. Good. Good. You get that resistance. The feeling that you're being pushed, and the resistance between the back and the front, feeling the pull. It's really interesting. That's the beginning seed of finding the strength of the character, and the pitching tent sort of notion, which I know that she does talk about. I visualize that there's like such an odd little visual, but I like my orbs and hoops and all this just wacky stuff. But I imagine these like hooks or rings attached to the back of your shoulder blades. So I like the concept of wings. I always love visualizing wings. I love visualizing the shoulder blades and the arms opening up as if there's giant wings protruding, away from you. But that's Wizard and I has a lot of moments like that, just trying to open up as if you're like caught by the wind, and you go. And the thing is, with the wings, they get the resistance as well, So they're both opening and feeling the wind. But this concept that there's a little ring or a circle or a hook attached to the back of the shoulder blade, and the string is pitched to the ground so that your shoulder blades are emanating outward and down. Yeah. So it's just a variation on the theme, right? It's like, it's all stuff that you've done before, and it's all stuff that Pip talks about. And it's interesting visual. That's just what I'm getting right now with this phrase. It's the sense of if we're pitched from the shoulder blades down to the ground, we have a sense of we can be We can dream, right? We can sort of look at the sky and that's fine, but we still have our ground and our tether to the earth. But at the same time, it's a different grounding and anchoring, because it actually encourages the chest to open. And I see this sort of hero. I see this kind of like hero character who's open, and the hero, the traditional hero is like, I'm there, I'm accessible, I'm here for you, right? But I'm strong, and you're going to learn from me. The hero's journey. Whereas some people like, different characters will anchor in different ways. Some you could play with the character anchoring down, like straight down the middle, straight down the spine to the ground, but you'll find that your weight will just be a little bit, kind of off balance. But it's just things to play with. The concept that where's your center of gravity emanating like right down the vertical. But when we have this balance, it's a good even place. And that's what I see this new key. It's like nice and strong and open. Anyway, that was a lot about this key change. It's just so interesting. It's just an interesting modulation. It's going up a minor third. It's very unexpected, yet fits really nicely. And you do get the dominant chord. That beats 3 and 4 are your dominant chord in the new key. And that leads you down to B major. No problems. That's fine. It's just that on the fourth beat, your note is not in the chord. In fact, the note of A is in the chord. And that's kind of like, I visualize that's like a little stepping stone for you. Like you're sort of leaping, like the stone on the rippling on the water, So that's like your axes. That's your anchor point. That's C sharp, because that's in the chord. Then you get this distance, the major second distance between there's, nice low formant, there's a life. And if you can leap, because they're all major seconds, there's a life. And you want to get that secure and honest. Know what I'm saying? Because the tongue will get involved, the articulators will get involved. The need for approval, right, will get involved. It will happen. It just happens, right? And it goes, key change, modulation, statement. There's a life that I'm meant to lead. Things get involved, things get in the way. Whereas for me, it's like if I visualize this anchoring of the shoulder blades and the strength of the chest, then my body is anchored. Here I am. I just need to communicate. There's a life that I am meant to lead. Then, because right from the beginning, I'd love for you to play with this concept like there's an ember in the solar plexus region, in the sort of near the diaphragm. That sort of sense of like there's a flame constantly going, especially at the beginning. And then it's constantly whittling down and burning bright. Because that's the idea of passion, It never sort of diminishes. It just hides sometimes. Anyway, it's a lot of random things. But if you're playing with this tent principle, the shoulder blades open, the heart opens, right? Rather than the heart kinking out. A lot of people do that. They miss that anchoring. They miss the strength into the earth. They just sort of break, and their heart is like, it's false because they're not authentic and they're not real in the space. And then all sorts of weird things happen to their voice because it's not rooted to the ground. The shoulder blades, the anchoring, and then the fire. The fire is like the hot air balloon, right? Because if the hot air balloon is sort of where the head is, it's constantly going, psh, there's a life, there's a life, there's a life. And then there's vision, right? So it's feet, as you know, I harp on about feet all the time. Shoulder blades, the fire, the parachute, and the vision. But vision, it will take you through this whole song. And you'll find that you'll bounce between trying too hard and then just not energizing enough, right? Like your anchor points have just sort of like the tautness on the rope has kind of, I don't know what the word is. You sort of just need to tighten them up a little bit. Yeah, we bounce between like not energizing, we bounce between like not trying too hard, and then the body sort of shuts down. It's, it's a constant balancing act. But this concept of strength in the right places, concept of grounding in the right places, that I love playing with the visual of the parachute, because soft palate, the eyes, everything opens up, right? And then the fire, right? The thing is, we and you don't really do this, but yeah, we know we do it. The concept of the neck and everything going up, up. It's interesting when you consciously encourage yourself to ground, and I imagine it from the hips, really, but we haven't really talked about the hips, to be honest. I think once you find where her heart sits, you'll start to grow the rest of her. Whereas usually I talk about the hips first, but I'm kind of like, I don't really feel it's right in this for this character to begin with. You think about the heart, the chest, almost the wings. The wings in my mind are being developed as the song progresses. She doesn't have them full-fledged wings yet. Some characters do. Like Alphaba, I'm like, damn, they're there. They're there. They're not always on all the time. With her, I feel like they're being constructed whilst this song is being formed, right? It's transformative. It has to be gargantuan, right? It has to be big. This idea, people don't find the largeness. And of course, when we go to big, we find ourselves trying too hard. We lose our center and we push forward. And then the concept of up takes over, right? But then we find that place and we learn to relax by actually feeling ourselves going up, over, and down. Up, over, and put on the anchors. Let the fire burn, and let the parachute get the hot air, right? Because then you can let the energy come through and forward and out. But it's always coming back. Some weird conceptual stuff. Always coming back. The thing is, a lot of the time we throw money, money. we throw the money out there, and we lose energy. We get tired. We get tired. Sometimes we get emotionally tired. We get energetically tired. We get tired of ourselves. We go, what am I doing? Just calm your farm right now. And we don't know how to find our way back to that. But always need the tendency, right? The impulse, is to keep giving more. And you know this. More. And then you become dull. You become disinterested. Or you just try too hard. It's this constant battle, right? And then when you become dull, shit doesn't work. And you try harder. Then it definitely doesn't work. Or it kind of works, and people go, yeah, that was great, but it's not the real deal, But this concept that the energy is moving forward, always try, and this is to be practiced in song, practice it coming forward, over, and down. So you retain it back again. You keep bringing it back. You keep feeling the back and the ground, and you don't give in to that sensation of like, what am I doing? I'm over-stimulating or I'm under-stimulating. You're just constantly rotating in this circle. Circles are fun. Lines are boring, because they end. Whereas the body's always working in a circle. The shoulder blades, the chest, opening up into a sphere rather than this finite line. Anyway, cool. Pew. Ah. Yeah, right. That's cool. it's here it's in her, you know. And the version of this song you know, if we had to think about, you know, if she had like multiple past lives or like sort of like think of quantum physics and parallel universes, she's going to sing this song. This is a song that she is singing. This is inevitable. It has to be sung. It is part of her course. It is part of her development, you know. But, you know, you imagine what would the song be if it was in Act 2 or if it was at the end or right at the start. Like, it's all just sort of different versions of the flame being developed, rather than thinking of it just being at a point in time. She's fiery. I love it. The end. That's what I was going to say. Double dum, double dum. Know what I'm saying? Typical. Double dum, double dum. Double dum, 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 dum. So you got these two beautiful rhythms. You got the left hand. Dum, 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 dum. Cool. It's a bit metal. It's a bit like I am meant to lead a life like nothing I have known. I can feel it, and it's far from here. You know, I'd encourage you to play with all the colors that you can play with, right? Provided, you know, do it all safely and stuff. But make it always find silly. Always find silly. Who finds silly and play, all right? Otherwise you take it too seriously and she becomes concrete rock, right? And she's like, I just want to breathe and I want to be human and I want to be silly, right? So you find all the colors. Then, of course, the right hand. What does that make you think of? It's a very contemporary sound. This idea of like, we're sort of getting into more impressionist, kind of less romantic notions here. Are you with me? Oh, okay. Yeah, you cut out too. I was like, oh, she's holding that face for a long time. Is something bad happening? We're getting into the idea of rhythm being the priority. And also these fourths they're just a very contemporary sound. But not only contemporary, they're the sound of... oh, sorry. That would have been loud. Oh, these are very dead. What if I did? You kind of got to use your imagination because it's a very bad trumpet sound. But the idea is that there's a triumph movement. There's sort of this, I get this old medieval kind of feel to it. When is it set, by the way? Like 18 something, or am I going too far back? Okay. We'll find those answers. Yeah. Olden days. The olden times. So there's a few things going on. Yeah, well, like, I'm getting color, like notes of beige and reds and corsets. Yeah. It's a rough guide. Okay, so what's interesting is that you sing the third in the B major chord for the first two bars. Life that I am meant to lead. Whereas it's not in the accompaniment, that D sharp. And, it's fine. It's not a huge problem. But I just think it's interesting when the character has her own note to sing. I think there's power to that, Whereas the chord is not going, it's not going major. Sorry. It's not, the third is not in there. It's actually a fourth. It's a suspended 2. And that creates an ambiguous sound. It doesn't know happiness or sadness. It's just, it's an impression. This is an impression. This is the sound of an impression. A feeling, a mood, an idea, an idea that doesn't quite feel so passionately. Sort of going on a weird tangent here, but combined with this essence of the repetitive sort of almost trumpet regal snare drum, since I'm off, I'm getting Japanese anime films of big pastures, pastores. And you got your satchel and you're ready, you're off. Or horses, makes me think of horses too. It's not quite tick, cookie, that's much more horses. But elements of horse. So there's two elements here. There's dum, that I am mentally alive like nothing I have known. If you can actually line up your text, you'll be masterful. You'll be like a superhero, because you're the last half of the bar lines up quite nicely with those quaver ands. It's the and of 3. Does that make sense? Life that I am mentally alive like nothing. There's the anchor there. Now it's quite over the top, to be honest, but we have a tendency to not anchor into these rhythms, and the character becomes, again, very mushy. It always happens. Life that I am mentally alive like nothing. It just becomes a bit. So there's two modes, right? But you need to be able to blend both of them. So yeah, life that I am mentally alive like nothing I have known. I can feel it. Yeah. So it's occurring in between the beats. I can feel it. Yeah. I can feel it. I can feel it. Don't much longer and don't tell me otherwise. That's the sentiment there. It's I can feel it. Now, words like feel, dream, shine, they're all words you need to absolutely experience and feel. Okay, you always feel them. You never just sort of say them. You don't just talk about dreams. You talk about dreams. And feel. I know it's only a quaver beat, but I can feel it. So then, I'm getting very I'm getting into the minutiae here. So let me know if it's good or bad. All right, it's interesting. There's so many layers. There's a lot of layers. This is really interesting. So yeah, for the first 3 bars, she's lining up with that quaver. Nothing, you don't have to make a big deal about it, but definitely practice it. See what happens when you just hit a metronome going tick, tick. That I am mentally tick, tick, alive like nothing I have known. People kind of get a bit nothing. You want to see if you can really, really get the vowel on that beat. You so want to get that vowel on the beat. That I am mentally. But then it trades. I can feel it, whereas the bass goes in between that. I don't feel it. Anyway, so we get that. But then we've got life that I am mentally. Sorry, I can't speak and play this phrase at the same time. Alive that nothing I have known. I can feel it. So I'm not doing it justice, by the way. But this is a much more spicy, excitable rhythm that makes the text. This is the sheen or the sheath of the text. Okay? This rhythm. That I am meant to lead, alive like nothing I have known. It's sort of the inner voice that maybe you could think about it as the little fire. I can feel it, and it's far from here. I've got to find it on my own. It's the quiet intensity. It's the background voice. It's like, yes, 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 yes. And then you've got her bold brashness. That's this. That I am meant to lead, alive like nothing I have known. I can feel it. And then hopefully... Sorry. The doorbell rang. It's such a confusing thing to hear during these times. The doorbell goes. I'm like, something's not right here. So, two energies, right? Two energies create a new energy. Okay? It has to be unique, brand new energy. But you can't force your way there. Okay? You need to understand the energies that it's coming from. Then we get the connection. All right? Sorry. There's a... I can feel it. Da-da-dee-da. Then the quavers move. Dee-da-dee-da. So, groundedness, and then like sprinkly bubbly on top. But I always like to visualize as a sphere. Okay, it's a sphere of energy, because if it's a world, a sphere, it has no end. It's just the core of the sound. It's the core of the text. So I encourage for you to keep speaking through the text so you can feel life. So it's not life. It's not life, like as if the mouth is saying the word. The wet mouth has got nothing to do with it, you know? Life. Yeah, so always connect with the text. Always speak the text, connect with it. Feel where it emanates from the body. Life, life, life. That's life. That I am meant to lead. Yeah? It'll exist differently in your body, of course, than it does mine. And then the layer of the sparkle. Life that I am meant to lead. Wow, is this possible? Could this be? Wow. Whoa. Whew. Yeah? But it has to be grounded. Has to be grounded, okay? That sense of excitement allows someone to enter through the heart. It allows me to go, I want her to win so badly. Okay? And that sense of brightness, sorry, did you hear a ding-dong? You can't hear that, can you? Who's joining us at this time? My mouse isn't working. What's happening? It's not working. Who is... I can't click participants. Oh well. Look, too late now. Oh well. I feel like I feel like I'm out of whack today. I just feel like time is being strange. Yes. Time is a contract. Contract of human perception. Anyway, keep speaking. Alive, like nothing. I didn't realize it's the word alive. I always thought it was alive. Alive, like nothing I have known. That's interesting. It means that people are not energizing the ends of their words. Alive, like nothing. Alive. You know, you say alive rather than alive. It's different. I'm talking about this. Yes, a life that I meant to lead. A life like nothing I have known. No. Alive like nothing I have known. It's awesome. The R vowel is different in live than it is in life, mainly because of where you're moving to. Live. There's a Y in there. Alive like nothing. Yeah. So you got a bit of the two Y's in there. Alive, like. Okay, I'm getting a bit over the top here, but the Y vowel, sorry, not vowel, the sound of E, live, alive, alive. That is to me fire. Alive. That's like the fire going. And that's where we get into like belt territory, right? Of like that high onset, that tongue, that E, that sense of like, yes. You know, yeah. That yeah. The tongue going, that sense of alive, alive. So keep tasting the words, keep tasting how they change in the mouth. And then, because that's a check for you, you know, it's a check. It's like I'm tasting it, I'm feeling it. And then I go to sing it. It doesn't taste like that. It doesn't taste properly. It doesn't taste right. I love using the concept of taste. Anyway, so these 8 bars are just your sort of exposition. Like from an essay perspective, it's like, let me lay it down for you, you know? You don't have to get too over-emotional, over-ambitious, over-romantic. It's just, this is it. This is the picture. I'm painting it for you. I also see it's like I often think about like the composer's spirit going into the character sometimes, or into some songs that some actors really try to interpret, that I'm like, you kind of just have to be a vessel for now, okay? Now, it's not completely a vessel, but I'm like, just go through the motions, get through this section, make your point. Don't overdo it, right? Don't over-romanticize it, because then we get contrast. Then we get romance. And you can hear it. I mean, this progression also is very prevalent in like a lot of tango music and European music. There must be somewhere I can be. There must be somewhere I can be. It's an interesting line. We're not going to go into the section because there's a whole... People never nail it. They never nail it. They go into false romance. Again, it has to be grounded, but I think when you do the work on the top of the song, which we've totally skipped across there, all that sort of stuff. I don't know. We'll get there, I guess. It is what it is, you know. This is the spark. This is the time stops moment, which in a lot of contemporary music, time freezes. And then we get the essence of feeling, right? And development in just one fine moment. It's really special. And music has the ability to communicate across time, right? It has the ability to freeze time and emanate feeling in just one fine moment, right? So often we get a song like this and we play it too real. Too real. We don't, the imagination's not there, the wings aren't there, the hills aren't there, the mountains are not there, the essence of like soaring through the sky is not there. It's not big enough, right? But when we feel something, we can feel it in script and screen and like just pure delivery of text. But as soon as music comes in, the music is a vehicle and a vessel for you to communicate that feeling externally. It's a real hard balance. But music has the capacity to help the audience feel what you're feeling. It is the connection point. Someone's like, I think I'm too late. I'm in the lobby. Fucking hell. Sorry. Oh, man. Anyway. All right, I'll just leave you with this. Just this melody. So take it back to the basics with this section. Don't get tempted by romance. Okay? I reckon that's what happens. We get tempted. We get enticed by romance. And because the music is written that way. But just bring it back to bubbles, bring it back to airflow, bring it back to pure like sentence like lane, semi-supine, speak through the words, breathe through the words, make them purely grey. Like when I say grey, like I mean just pull the color out from them. You know what I'm saying? Make them even, feel the breath, practice it slowly, get the notes right, really right. Yeah. Then we paint. And we paint afterwards because the romance in the music is so obvious. And we unknowingly have bias towards it. Which is great. It's good for the composition. Like, it means they've done the job properly. But we end up false romanticizing, and we're just slightly disconnected. Anyway, I'll leave you there. Whatever. I'm surprised no one else came. But that's okay. Got to spend some one-on-one time with you.